I was invited by Nintendo to preview Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, so thank you, Nintendo, for this opportunity. Now, before we get into my thoughts, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, so maybe I could do more things like this in the future. The preview event was broken up into two segments. The first one was in a room that had a bar that was serving specialty drinks and snacks. Now, it was 9 in the morning, so it was cold brew coffee and breakfast snacks. The reason I'm bringing it up is because the snacks and the drinks had like thematically appropriate names. Like the snack that I had was called a Phazon Energy Ball. I'm not really sure what it was, but it had Fruity Pebbles on it. I just thought it was cute and fun to have Metroid themed drinks and snacks. So that was cool. And in that same room, they had the amiibo on display, and those look really good in person. So now I have to get the amiibo clearly. And they also had the art book on display. But the main thing in the first room were a bunch of stations with Metroid Prime 4 in handheld mode. Now, hopefully I have a separate video out with my impressions of handheld mode, but I will talk a little bit about it. The demo is the demo that they were showing at other events, so some people probably have already played it. This is my first time that I've ever been able to play Metroid Prime 4, so this is my first time with that demo, and I really enjoyed it. So spoilers for the other video that I hopefully have out. I really enjoyed this demo, and I also really enjoyed handheld mode. It looks good and it runs really smooth. So I think this game is going to be fantastic for handheld mode. So that segment took about 15 minutes, and then we went into another room for the main preview, and that was to preview the area called Fury Green. Now, before I get into the gameplay, I want to talk a little bit about the overall presentation because it is incredible. This game is beautiful. The environments are very lush and vibrant, and it feels grand at times. The music is fantastic. The cutscenes are very high quality, probably the best quality cutscenes that we've had in a Nintendo game. Honestly, I would say this might be one of the best quality game presentations that we've ever had in a Nintendo game. And I know that I was playing on the Nintendo Switch 2 version. I'm not sure what Nintendo Switch 1 looks like, but the Nintendo Switch 2 version looks incredible, sounds incredible. Like, I can't wait to see where this goes because it is just top notch. So when you first load into Fury Green, it feels a lot like a Metroid game. You're in a corridor that you have to take out some enemies, and then there's a door at the end. So it feels a lot like a Metroid Prime game. So if you're worried about this game feeling different from Metroid Prime, at least in these areas, it does not feel different. It has those corridors, it has, you know, the iconic doors at the end. It feels a lot like Metroid Prime, so you'll feel right at home. We were told that we were playing the first hour to an hour and a half of the game, so really not that far in, but we did have access to the psychic abilities, which are new to the Metroid Prime series. They're new, but I don't know how exciting they are. The first ability you get is you pretty much move an orb from a statue to a door to unlock the door, or you can move a lever from one side of the door to the other side of the door to unlock that door. So it really wasn't anything mind-blowing or stuff that we haven't seen before. I just hope, you know, as the game progresses, we get better abilities and we get more intricate puzzles. The one ability does come later on. It's called the Control Beam, and I liken this to the beetle in Skyward Sword, where you shoot the beam and you control it, so you could go through like a hole to hit the lock on the back of a door to unlock that door. So the Control Beam was a little bit better. It was more fun to use. I'm not saying the psychic abilities are bad or not fun to use, because they are. They're just not, they're not really exciting yet. I know it's early on in the game, but I hope they get better. So as you progress, you come across a character, and I'm pretty sure that this character is going to be divisive. Now, it's a soldier that is stranded, and once you rescue him, he tags along for a little bit. Not like the entire time, like Ashley from Resident Evil 4 or anything, but you do have to get him to like a safe zone or a base, and he just stays there for the rest of the mission. But I don't know if he's gonna be in the entire game, like a person in your ear, or if this is his entire story arc. But I do see people not liking him because Metroid Prime, you're supposed to be on a secluded planet, isolated with like nobody else. That's what makes it terrifying, and fills you with dread. But having a side character kind of pulls you out of that. So I can see people not liking it, but it is different. So if you're looking for something different, there's this side character. And another aspect, people might find him annoying. The writing might be annoying to some people, and just his voice could be annoying. Personally, I didn't notice. I honestly forgot about him. There's a part where he tags along, where you have to actually guide him across a bridge to get him to the safe zone. But I did not realize that he could die, so I kind of lost track of him. And he was killed by enemies, and I failed the mission, so I had to start over. But yeah, so people might find him annoying, but I didn't notice. I don't think he ruined the experience, but I'm not sure how much he added to the experience. I actually thought that there was some clever writing with him. Like, I scanned him and he said, "Did you just scan me?" So I don't know. I'm torn on it. It didn't ruin my experience, but I do understand that people might not want him there. Eventually, you'll get to a boss fight. Now, the boss fights, I believe, are going to be the highlight. The 2 boss fights that I did were very fun. The one in handheld mode was fun, and then the one in the Fury Green area I enjoyed a lot. And they felt very Metroid Prime to me. This one was a giant flower with giant tentacles. You had to destroy the tentacles in order to open up the flower to do damage to the boss. Now, the first phase was simple. It was only one tentacle that you had to destroy to open the flower, but the subsequent phases had multiple tentacles that you had to destroy at the same time. And this felt like a Zelda boss as well, because you had to use the control beam that you got earlier in the area to destroy the multiple tentacles at the same time to open the flower. So it felt very Metroid Prime to me, and it was really fun. I can't wait to see what other boss fights they have, because these 2 are fantastic. So that was the end of the demo. I did get a sneak peek of the desert, but I wasn't able to explore it, so I didn't get to use Viola. They did tell us that the desert is to get from one area of the world to another area of the world, with some exploration in the middle. That's one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about. I'm not sure what the open area is going to be like. Hopefully it's fun. Hopefully it's not just empty. But I don't know. I didn't get to try it. Overall, I really enjoyed what I played. The corridors and the boss fight felt very Metroid Prime. I'm excited to see where the psychic abilities go. Hopefully they add more intricate puzzles for them. The presentation, the overall presentation of the game is phenomenal. So I cannot wait for this game to come out. The last thing I want to talk about are control schemes, because I was able to try out 3 different types of controls. The first one being mouse controls. Now, I don't typically ever use mouse controls, not even on PC. I'm always using a controller, but the mouse controls are a big feature on the Nintendo Switch too, so I wanted to try them out, and they work very well. Moving the character with the left Joy-Con and moving your arm cannon with the mouse works very well. You could easily lock on to enemies. The right trigger button works very well. The only thing that's a little bit awkward are the visor and the morph ball buttons, because the visor is X and the morph ball is Y, so it's a little bit awkward to try and hit those buttons. And you're going to be using your visor a lot to scan things, to go into psychic visor mode. Like, you need to use that visor. So I don't know if you could remap buttons. I did not try that. It just felt a little bit awkward, but other than that, it was pretty serviceable. And if you like mouse controls, I think these are pretty good. Next, I used gyro controls with split Joy-Con, and I really liked this way of playing. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. I might actually use this way to play the game fully when it comes out. But if you've played the Wii version of Metroid Prime, this will be very familiar to you. The left Joy-Con is to move your character, the right Joy-Con is to point and shoot. The only weird thing that was a little bit odd is the right Joy-Con, the right trigger does not shoot. It's not your standard shot. It's the A button that is your standard shot. It's very awkward. At first, I'm not sure why they did it that way, because the right trigger is still easy to hit even in gyro mode. So that was a little bit odd. Again, I don't know if you could remap your buttons, and I'm sure I would just get used to it if I use gyro controls the entire time to hit the A button to fire instead of the right trigger. But other than that, man, it was very smooth. I liked gyro controls a lot. I think I lied. I think I'm just going to use the Pro Controller. The Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller is one of the best controllers that I've ever used, and you know, it felt right to use the Pro Controller while playing this game. So yeah, I mean, if you have a Pro Controller, you get it. If you don't have a Pro Controller, I recommend using gyro controls with split Joy-Con. This preview got me really excited for Metroid Prime 4 in December, so thanks again, Nintendo, for inviting me to this event. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. I'll be posting a ton of Metroid Prime 4 content, so be on the lookout for that. Talk to you next time.